Okay, looks like we are recording today. It is January 17th. For those of you that missed last week's call, it did not get recorded. I apologize for that. It was a great call. Probably one of the biggest calls in quite a while. It was really good, a lot of good feedback, and we went over a lot of people that were actually getting success on their campaigns. So really, it was a really awesome call. So anyway, if you missed it again, I apologize. So, okay, for this week, again, this is an open call. So if you've got anything that you want to talk about or you want to discuss, go ahead and just come right out with it. Not a problem. And if not, I will go ahead and cover some stuff that I've been hitting on this week. So anybody want to hop in, Anthony?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Since it's open mic here. So.
Oh, it's always open mic here.
Yeah. I guess it's about with SEMrush. And I think you've touched on this. On the desktop results for SEMrush. I'm ranking, I have a lot more keywords I'm ranking for, but for the mobile, there's a drastic drop off in the mobile results. So, and I wanted to, if I could just preface the question, I'm wondering, the question is, what beyond having responsive sites, how do you improve your mobile results for SEMrush? And part of the question is, I've never done AMP, accelerated mobile pages for Google. I'm thinking that plays a role in that they give more juice to sites that have AMP, that agree to use the AMP service. I'm concerned that, like everything else with Google, there's a back door where maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but that they're going to be monitoring my sites, and that my sites are now tied in with Google on AMP.
Well, there is absolute truth to that.
Okay.
The other thing is it really a concern at this point? Because no matter if you're using that or not, they're just as well connected if you weren't using it as if you were. Because of the whole AI thing, the rank brain, it's seeing that, and that, in my opinion, that is probably the reason why your mobile sites they're not getting as good of engagement. And that could be from, any one of, a number of reasons. When you say a site is responsive, mobile friendly, all that's one thing. That's like a criteria of, does it fit in the frame? It doesn't really mean that it's truly mobile user friendly. So you could run a site, a site checkup, and they could say, yeah, your site is like, as good as it gets as far as mobile friendly. But that does not mean that it's mobile user friendly. So I want to make sure you get that distinction. Okay. Like when I was redeveloping my site just recently, it passed the mobile friendly check, but when I looked at it, it was a disaster. Like some of the menus were overlapping with other stuff. And from a user perspective, it was an absolute disaster. So keep that in mind. Google's AI, the whole rank brain thing, it's looking at user behavior. So you might be getting a lot better user behaviors on your desktop site than you are on your mobile site. That would be my biggest concern there. You're not alone here either. A lot of people, like almost every site I've looked at in the last 2 years, the desktop site did better than the mobile site. So a lot of people are not really optimizing for mobile. I've only seen that be the reverse in a couple of cases, and that was that was sites where all of their traffic was mobile. Like a pizza place or something. Most people are running those searches on their mobile devices. But as far as the AMP, I don't see any problem at all with doing that at this point. Google will favor it, I believe. And you're not really, by not doing it, I don't think you're hiding anything. You're not really keeping anything from them, if that's a concern, because like I said, anybody that hits your site with a browser that does not have safe web browsing turned off, they're seeing everything anyway. So it doesn't really matter. They've gotten so ingrained and embedded into everything that there's really no way we can hide. At this point, we've got to just, play by the rules. So yeah, SEO is still important, but you're not really going to get away with all of the, the wild stuff that we used to do. So at this point, the best thing that I've seen out there yet is, it's the whole idea of our Rainmaker software. That is, from a user perspective, that's the only thing I know of that's going to give you those signals that is going to help the rank. Because I know in my commercial SEO business, we've been doing this for a very long time, and it hit a point where we could do more link building, we could do more of everything, and just didn't make a difference until we changed the user signals. When we got better user metrics, then our rank not only went up, it actually stuck. Because I believe that they are doing just a massive split test with this whole rank brain algorithm. It's, like I've said, it's watching everything. If you've got a browser that, that doesn't have safe web browsing turned on, they're watching, because they control the safe web browsing. So it's not just Chrome. It's, it's in Firefox, it's in all of them, it's in Safari. Safe web browsing is a common thing, common gateway to make sure, you don't pass viruses across a browser, and Google controls it.
So you don't think, John, with accelerated mobile pages, can they, like, say if a bunch of sites are on one server, like a PBN thing, can't they trace that? I mean, if you register with their AMP service,
they can, but the whole point is it doesn't matter, because they can see it anyway.
So you're saying they can see it, but it doesn't really matter, like we talked about in the past few weeks. If you have, if sites are related, it doesn't really matter to them as long as there's a good user experience.
Yeah, I think they have really loosened up the reins on a lot of that stuff. They used to go after specific things, and they would they would take points away from you, and it would affect your rank. But most of those signals, from what I've seen, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say link building is not still important, but again, think about that from the perspective of they know everything. So what happens if you build a bunch of links and one of two things happens? Either those links don't bring you traffic, which they know, or those links bring you traffic that is not the right traffic, and they bounce and they give you bad user signals. So link building is, the importance of that has really shifted. It's not just about getting a link on a great site. It's about getting a link on a site that has your prospective clients on it, and giving them something that's interesting, so they get a high click-through ratio for one, and then they get a positive user experience on the other side once they get to your site.
Okay. So to circle back,
that's like the creme de la creme of link building at this point, in my opinion.
Right. So you're saying that to rank better for mobile, consider using AMP, and then look at the sites need to be formatted better for a mobile user. That's what you're...
Correct. Because like I said, if you can run a site analysis on your site, and it might say your site is 100% mobile friendly, but then you look at it from a user and it's a disaster. So again, the mobile friendly, that's just a framework. That does not mean it's going to be a good user experience. So, like I said, when I redeveloped my site, it passed the mobile friendly test, no problem. But I looked at the site, on my phone, and it was a disaster. It had, the menu bar was overlapping something. You couldn't see what was going on. I'm like, really? They consider this mobile friendly? Okay.
Hi,
Oh,
John.
yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
I would like to ask you if you could advise me about how do you deal with a client in SEO that you have been working with them almost 2 years, and all of the sudden they say, well, we have a lot of traffic, everything is fine, we want to cancel the service.
Okay, that's going to be a fairly common thing. There's several different reasons it could come from, and if they're honest with you, you might be able to get to the bottom of it. But that is a common thing, because they have it in their head that they've paid, they've got the thing, and they think it's just going to last forever. And the truth of the matter is, it might. So it's kind of hard for us as SEO providers to deal with that fact that over the years we're building a lot of equity for these people, and they don't appreciate it. The bigger problem is they've probably got someone whispering in their ear that you're not doing a good job. And this is very, very common. And the person that's whispering in their ear, it could be from several different sources. It could be from somebody internal, which we've recently had, an issue like that. There's somebody internal that they're not secure in their position, and they're threatened by you. Because when you come in and you're providing that service and you're kind of seen as a consultant, it'd be very easy for you to say, hey, you don't need these people in-house doing this. This is already done. So they can be very, very threatened. And so they might have somebody internally whispering in their ear to get rid of you. You might have somebody that is new in the company that's got a friend that does what you do. That's a tough situation as well, because they're going to be pushing them. So you could potentially have a lot of people that are really trying to derail you and throw you under the bus when you're providing any kind of services to businesses. Because, there's political things, there's scarcity things. They might have another SEO provider that ran some report and said, hey, you're not taking care of these things. Why not? Now, I can tell you, you could skew just about any information. If you wanted to go out and do those kind of approaches, you could go to almost any account and show them how you can do a better job than whoever's doing it, and cheaper or whatever. And if there's no loyalty to you, which in a lot of cases there really isn't, it's a relationship that you create, but sometimes you might not be talking to the client for months, if not years. I mean, I've got SEO customers that we might talk to once a year. We do an annual review and redo keyword research and stuff like that, but that's really about the only time we talk to them. So in the other 364 days, we don't know what kind of conversations they're engaged in. So it could be that. So I would say your best bet, as far as from a strategic standpoint, is to just ask them why. Say, are you trying to cut budget? Do you think this is just going to last forever? One of the things that you might tell them is, when you stop doing what I'm doing for you and you suffer a drop, it's much more difficult for me to get you back to the platform where you are now. That's one way you could go about it. There may or may not be a whole lot of truth to that. Like I said, when you build SEO is over a long period of time, it's equity building. And that's one of the things that I tell clients is this is equity building. So in the beginning, when they're not seeing a lot of results really fast, which is usually the case, you've got that equity stature that they're not throwing their money out the window. Another thing that you might tell them, and I preface this with all my clients, is I don't take on competing clients. So if I've got a client in a particular niche and maybe it's a localized business in a local area, I tell them up front, one of the benefits of going with me is I'm not going to take on your competitors and compete with you myself, because that just wouldn't be fair to them. I just wouldn't do that to begin with. I never have, never will. So that's one thing I tell them. So I'm building a personalized relationship on them, that I'm going to war for them. And as soon as they decide not that they don't want me on their team, then now there's a loose mercenary available on the market that their competitor could hire, and I could be working against them. So that might be something, and that might be kind of a scare tactic at this point if you haven't set the basis for that. But like I do that in the beginning when I start working with a client, I set that parameter of, I'm really good at what I do, and when I'm doing it for you, everyone else is screwed. So if you decide to let go of me, you could be in that bucket of being screwed, because I could be working for someone else against you. So that's kind of, just the rough outside guidelines of client management, and how I've dealt with it over the years. I know that a lot of people have different views, different tactics, and who's right, who's wrong. I don't know that anybody is. It's whatever kind of works for you. So that's worked for me. Traditionally, I've been at this for over 20 years, and I've seen just about everything that you could possibly see. I've seen other competitors come in and lie, cheat, and steal to get clients, and if they're that desperate, they probably needed it way more than I did, so I don't really care. If you're just starting out, you can't really come at it with that kind of an attitude. When you've only got a handful of clients and you lose one, it hurts. So you have to go about it at a different angle. And it's hard for me to remember back that far, but I know I was in that case. At first I would just take on anybody, even if it was the right customer for me. Over the years, what I know now, there's a lot of people I would never take on that I took on years ago. In fact, one of the things that I routinely did every year, like every January, I would take a look at my client roster and say, okay, over the last year, how many of these people just ate up my time and were a pain in my butt and caused me to not get better clients moving forward? And I basically just cut them loose. I would, some people call it firing your clients. Well, I would just have a conversation with them and say, I don't think we're suited well together. And what I would do, I would just say, moving forward, if you'd like to continue, this is how it's going to be, and this is going to be the price. And generally that would get rid of them, because I would just outprice them. And they wouldn't be able to move forward with me. I always let them down easy. I would make recommendations of what I believe they should do. Rather than move forward with me, I would always give them another direction to go. So I never just threw them under the bus. I was never mean about it. It was a business conversation that led to a decision on their part. Because for me in my business, it's got to be worth my while. It's got to be a win-win. And if I'm not winning and they're being a pain in the ass, then I'm done. So anyway, hopefully that helps, Lewis. Is there anything else? Anything I missed, or was that helpful?
Yeah, very helpful. But the point that this client say, okay, let's stop for 4 or 5 months, is the traffic is growing and growing and growing, and it's been growing for the last almost 20 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, and most things require their technical team, because it's a custom developed e-commerce.
Okay.
So the traffic is growing and growing, and I think that the potential customer are coming. So they say, okay, let's stop 4 or 5 months and we'll see. But I do believe that the I do believe that the traffic is gonna keep on coming because I read Billy Slawski. Do you know Billy Slawski?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Billy Slawski is a guy that read and write about patents in SEO,
Oh, okay.
and I share with you in the chat. And there is a patent about query augmentation, which is if you rank for one keyword and there are related terms for that keyword, and you get feature snippets, and automatically you rank for a whole bunch of bags of keywords related to that term. And pretty much is the case. So the traffic is now growing 300%. It's grown 300% over the last 6 months, and I think that's the reason they say, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, they think they're going to get a free ride, basically. Yeah. So, you could probably just sit down. I don't know if you have the ability to do this if they're open to it, but you could sit down and and just have a conversation with them. One of the things you can do is you can go to SEMrush, and they have a report you can run, and it shows the value of the traffic they're getting. And they have a calculation based on the position and the traffic volume and the pay-per-click as to what that traffic would cost them if they were to have to go and buy it. So if their SEO was to fall apart and they still wanted to remain at that level of traffic, this is the cost of what the SEO is worth to you right now. So that's a good figure, especially if it's much higher, and it generally is. It's a lot of times it's higher than what they're paying you. So they're getting a great deal. They're getting a better deal than if they went through pay-per-click, which, in SEO, it doesn't start off like that. It could take you a long time to get it to that point where that equity is built and it's now paying off. The problem you're up against now is they see it paying off, and now they think they're going to be able to get a free ride forever. And again, that could be true or false. But I think, a conversation based on that of, you're paying, to get this done, it's being done, you're getting a constant uptick. What you want to alert them from is when Google sees a radical shift in what's going on, they can all of a sudden not trust the site anymore. Let's say, you've got, X amount of links being built every month, and then all of a sudden that stops. They can now say, hey, that site's no longer active. Whoever was managing it and creating the content, they've stopped, they've gone stagnant. And that could cause a drop. One of the things I've said for many, many years, and this is based on one of the Google patents as well. I was speculating it years before it actually came out, but it actually came out. Dory Friend found it in a patent, and she's another one. I don't know if she does it or she's got somebody that actually reads through all the patents and deciphers them. And it's one thing to read those patents; it's another to decipher it and understand what it's really doing. And anyway, she came out with that, and she basically proved that I was right with the the whole Google dance thing. What they're doing is they're trying to do a chicken game with SEO guys. So let's say you're doing a bunch of link building, and you're doing crazy stuff, and all of a sudden the site's going up and up and up, and all of a sudden now it drops. Like just out of the blue, just boom, all your keywords go to page 2 or 3, and you freak out, because most SEO guys are watching that, and they freak out and they say, oh my God, I got to stop doing what I was doing. Well, if you do that, they've got you. They have a specific mousetrap patent that does stuff to see if it alters your course. And if it alters your course, then you're screwed. Because now, even if you go back, they know they've played a cat and mouse game with you and you flinched. So that's another conversation that you could have with them. is, you know, they could potentially cause that trigger. And once that trigger is caused, they no longer trust the site. So the rank drops, and it's very hard to reverse that. So it could wind up costing them a whole lot more than what they're paying you right now just to maintain it. So that might be another angle to, you know, to go out and just explain it. Just say, hey, I'm not trying to save the account, although, you know, naturally I am, but hey, I am more concerned with you. You're my client. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to serve you. And I wouldn't be serving you very well if I didn't tell you this. And so, you know, the other thing is you might preface that in a way where you're actually educating them to how the algorithms work. You could also, when you're doing that, you can set buying criteria. You know, I do this a lot in the beginning when I'm actually engaging a new prospect and turning them into a commercial SEO account, is I do a lot of education with them. And when I'm doing that education, I'm setting buying criteria to where no one else on the planet would match. No one else would be a good fit. When I teach them what's important and what to look for and how to buy SEO, whether they buy it from me or not, when they go shop it, there's nobody going to match what I've taught them. So that's another thing. If they've got other SEO guys in their ear, you want to make sure you put out there that, hey, I'm the guy that brought you this far. I know what I'm doing. The other ones are a complete gamble and a risk. And if they do something that is negative, it's going to be really hard to unravel that. You know, I've got you here the right way. So, you know, this is like with anything. It's not just SEO. Any kind of ad campaign, whether it's pay-per-click or Facebook ads or whatever, when you're doing a good job and you're producing results, and people try and pull the rug out from under you, you know, there's usually a reason behind it. If you're making them money, there's no reason that they would want to stop making money. So that, you know, there's an underlying reason. Maybe they think they can take it over and do it in-house, whatever it may be. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, anybody else here? Mr. Chris, you had a question about business cards, did you?
Yeah, I have a, hey everybody. I was wondering if I can get your opinion on a couple choices of business cards that I'm putting out. And I would like your opinion on 2 different designs. And then within those 2 designs, 2 different approaches. And the approaches is one card features more, it lists features. You know, it's like, here's the things that we provide. And then the other design has that plus also benefits, because I've been, you know, listening to a lot of different stuff, and of course John talks about in the analysis about figuring out what people want. You know, what is their problem and they need to fix. So in my business, it's a staging business. They don't need a projector and a stage. They need an event, for example, that's going to run smoothly. That's what they really want. So anyway, let me, if I can, share my screen with you guys, and if I could get your opinion on the cards, I would appreciate it. And
yeah, and for everyone that's, you know, that's on here now, and for everyone that watches the replay, whenever you're doing any kind of marketing, whether it be a business card, a brochure, a website, whatever, typically the person that you're after really doesn't care. They really don't care about you. They really don't care about your features. They probably don't even care about your product. Like in my case, for instance, you know, SEO, I've sold SEO for over 20 years. Nobody wants SEO. Nobody cares about SEO. You know, nobody's sitting up late at night thinking, man, I can't sleep. I'd be able to sleep really good if I just had some SEO. That's just not going on. What they're thinking is, what they really want is they want more clients. So if I go in and try and sell them SEO, I'm trying to sell them something they don't want. If I go in and I try and sell them on the fact that, hey, I can get you new clients and I'm going to use this thing called SEO to do it, then they'll say, oh yeah, okay, I want that. I want whatever it is that's going to get me what I want. But they don't necessarily want that thing. So keep that in mind. That's the difference between features. Features is what it is, and benefits is what it does. And what it does is more important to your prospects than what it is, by far. The only part where what it is comes into play to be really important is if they've seen it over and over and over, and you're saying what it is, and it's the same thing as everyone else, then you have the additional problem of they don't believe it. Why is yours any better? So that's that's something to think about. So yeah, Chris, go ahead and share your screen. Let's see what you got.
Okay, let me get back there real quick, and we'll go. All right, share.
Yeah, Chris, the other Chris on the line, he just put a comment in there, and he said, yeah, same thing. He's doesn't matter what he's selling as far as a service. It's basically what they're buying is lead generation, because that's what they want. They want the lead. So it's the same thing.
Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yep, I see the Vista print up there.
Okay, good. And basically what it is, it's what I'm, the business I'm moving into is staging, where someone has an event and they need a stage, they need some lights, they need an audio system, they need projectors and screens. So that's what it is. All right, so basically let me just hit on two different designs really quick. Let me go here. This first one is just a simple, elegant, put the words up there, trusted AV. And the company phrase is, we make your life easy with basic information.
Okay.
So that's the front side. And then on the back, it lists what what things we have.
Sure.
So that they look at it and say, oh, okay, well, we need those, so they really get an idea of what we do.
So let me stop you right there.
Yep.
Either on the front or the back, if you had some sort of a line that says, we handle everything A to Z to make your events run smooth and seamless.
Yep.
And then, these are the things we use in the process of doing that.
Okay.
So you're missing that one little piece of the message.
I get it. That is the design. Let me show you, before we dive deeper into the content, which is ultimately important, let me show you a different design. So that's the first one, and then here's the other one. Just as far as the, not what the words say more or less, but the just the look of the card.
Yeah, now see the look of this card, I'm pretty sure I'm on stage. Because, the trusses at the top, the lights, this tells me I'm at an event.
Right.
So I definitely get the feel of that here.
Okay. And again, this is for like an event planner that says, I've got like 100 people coming for a training session, and I want to convey as much information as I can. Just as far as designs go, does this one look, do you guys have a preference over which one gives more information or the right information, or?
Anybody want to chime in and give your opinion? Ted says number 2 in the chat, so he likes this one better.
Okay. And again, we're foregoing the words at this time. It's just as far as a layout. If I hand someone a business card.
Sure. This one, it's clean and simple, but it doesn't make a statement visually.
Okay.
Can I throw something in there?
Sure. Go ahead, Gwen.
Number 1 will get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Which one? The clean one?
Yeah.
The clean one, because it's just white, and most people have their business cards in a Rolodex or a stack of some sort.
Yep.
And if they're looking for a white card amongst most white cards, it's going to get lost.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. That's good feedback. Anyone else?
Yeah. I think Gwen's right on the money there, because you'll just become one of the many, where here you could stand out.
Okay.
And visually, like I said, visually at a glance, I don't have to read anything. I know what you're doing here.
Okay. Can I offer you guys some feedback on that? It's funny. This was my first choice, and I did the other one just in case my instinct was wrong. And, you know,
That's always good.
Yeah, it's always good, and but just kind of shows me that, you know what, my gut feeling is usually right, but it's always good to get feedback. So okay, so we're good with the design. Thank you very much. I feel better about that one too.
Because like what I tell people is, like, when you're in the creation mode, it's important to understand what your prospect really wants. So when you start creating things and they land on like a landing page or your website, they feel at home. They know they're in the right place.
Okay.
And, you know, that gives me more of that feeling.
That's what I was thinking too. Okay. Now that we got that, I would like to talk to you just about the text. Now, I didn't put the text I want to compare is on the other cards. So if you can imagine the colorful background.
Sure.
But this one I've got. Let me show you just the text that will go in that colorful background. So the tagline on the colorful background is, "We make your life easy." Or, well, here, let me show you the simple. "We make your life easy," and this is the backside.
Okay.
Okay, so that's example A. So it's pretty straightforward. These are the things we provide, and our message is, "We make your life easy." Here's an alternate. Oops. Here's an alternate with some alternate text that says, "Successful events guaranteed." And again, this is the text that would go on the other card, but it's set up here. Success. So instead of "We make your life easy," which is kind of,
that's too generic.
Yeah, everyone.
Anything.
I think you're right. Everyone wants an easy life, but what this person is looking for is a successful event. So anyway,
it's funny. I was writing a tagline as you were pulling that up, and I said, "Make your event profitable and worry-free."
Nice.
So it's the same kind of thing, success guaranteed. You might have, flushed it out better than I did.
Ooh, I like that though. That phrase, "worry-free," because if you're an event planner, you're really worrying about events. Well, here's the difference on the backside then, where I added benefits. So I still have the nuts and bolts, but I also put some ideas up there of what they're really looking for.
Okay. So with this, you've got kind of a disconnect, because what I'm doing is I'm looking logically at stage, reduce risk with on-site backups.
Oh.
I'm looking at those as being one line, and lighting, peace of mind. So I'm looking for the benefit to be attached to the thing on the left, because as an English reading human, I'm reading left to right. I don't see that as a column.
Right. Okay. Got it. Yeah, and even adding a little hyphens ain't going to do it. But I see what you're saying, that people might, instead of bullet points, it's a line of reading. Okay.
Yeah. So if you put stage and then you put the benefit of the stage and lighting and the benefit of lighting, that or completely separate them, so it doesn't look like it's, here they look like they're meant to be attached.
Ooh, got it. So I can add a line. Yeah, so if I add a line there, maybe separate it, or put a box around it, or do something to separate it. But in the meantime,
well, what you could do would be real easy.
Yeah.
Is on the left side, you've got the bullets of what you've got.
Yeah.
And then on the right side, if you made it left justified and made it read like a paragraph, and you just said what you wanted to say in paragraph form, then that to me does not attach to what's on the left. But when you're doing, one piece right straight across from each other, I'm seeing those as being connected.
Okay. Got it. So if I went here
You could even
And-
put a little, hairline box around the text if you wanted to, or around the bulleted list to kind of compartmentalize it.
Right. And then also use the title, for example. Here's what we provide, and here's and then maybe like something like our mission under here to provide you a worry-free, successful environment that makes you look great and saves you time and money, for example.
Yeah. And instead of trusted AV provides, maybe think about some sort of wording that like trusted AV includes, so you can have a stress-free event. You have nothing to worry about. We cover it all.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of wordy, but something along those lines I think would be very helpful.
Okay. So trusted AV includes, and then list those things so that you can have a stress-free, so you can have, so if I copy this.
We cover it all to make your event profitable and worry-free.
Right. So so I could put trusted AV includes, and then but also get a line, to separate the two, and then have something like so that you have a stress-free event, peaceful. I'm sorry, I was talking over you as you were talking.
Yeah, and instead of includes, I threw that out at first, but you might want to say, instead of includes, you could say handles everything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And then you go into, so you can have a profitable event and worry-free.
All right. So that, and then maybe put a line here, and then maybe so that you can have, and then I like what you're saying. Get away from the bullet point and just make a statement. Make it, maybe just like a 1 or 2 sentence, so that you can have a successful stress-free event that will save you time and money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just say it out in a short paragraph there.
Oh, do you mean up at the top here? Oh, a short paragraph.
Yeah, over on the right side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could put that up as center.
You know what? How about if I just had that mission statement there? Trusted AV provides everything you need. Well, okay.
Yeah, you kind of play around with it, but that's the message you want to get across. Is trusted AV handles everything, so you can have a profitable, worry-free event.
Yep. Maybe John, would I just put that as the statement on top? Trusted AV handles everything, so you can have a stress-free, successful event.
Sure.
And just put that statement up there, and then list the individual items.
Mm-hmm.
But
because that pretty much says it all. That you're saying you're going to handle everything, and you're listing all the stuff that they don't have to worry about. That's actually a cool line. Here's the stuff you would not have to worry about if you had trusted AV. You wouldn't have to worry about the stage, the lighting, the projectors. It's all handled.
Yeah. Here's everything you don't have to worry about. Okay. Here's a list of everything you don't have to worry about. Yeah, so I think taking these benefits and making a statement out of it, like a paragraph, like, trusted AV handles everything, for a stress-free, worry-free event, a successful event, and then list those items. Okay. So I just need to work on some copy about how to really focus on the benefit to them, and what it is they really want when they hire someone to technically put up a show. What it is they really want. I guess they want everything to go smoothly. It'd be stress-free for them and successful for all concerned. Okay.
Mary Sue, she pointed out that peace of mind should be PEACE.
Oh, well, there you go.
How
Thank you
about
for
a
that.
tagline that says, make your staged event easy?
Yeah, and Chris, the other Chris, he put the stuff with like little dots in between it. You can see in the chat how he formatted it, and that actually looks nicer than vertical down the left side like that.
Nuts. I'm not seeing that chat or that note.
Okay, well I'll copy it and send it to you. But it's basically it's just the words left to right with the dot separating them in the middle,
Okay.
like a bullet point separating them.
Okay, but in a horizontal?
Yes, horizontal left to right. So there's
Okay.
2 lines.
Yeah.
So stage, lighting, projectors,
Okay.
audio, all separated by dots, but it comes out to like 2 lines.
Okay. Well, I think I don't want to take up too much time, but thank you for the feedback on the design and then the rewording on the back, which I'll work on a little bit. Anything before we go? Anything about the front side? Successful events guaranteed.
Just for reference, several people have come up with kind of the same thing of using the word easy in different ways. Like we make event AV easy.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, that's some good feedback using the word easy, because everybody likes easy.
Yeah.
And you can't guarantee them a successful event if their part is flopped, then it's not your fault.
I'm sorry, pardon me?
I was just looking at successful events guarantee, but if they didn't do their part so that it wasn't a success,
Well, he can guarantee that the
you
AV.
can guarantee your part of it being successful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know,
just
that's the literal side of me going, you can't guarantee that.
no, I'm just guaranteeing that that we have backups. That's the biggest thing about guaranteeing something. When something is going to go wrong. The question is, do you have a backup?
Ah, okay.
That's really the thing. So a projector goes down. Great. Do you have another one? Yeah, we always carry a backup. So anyway, so successful events guaranteed. We make your life easy. Any other benefit that
I think that was it that came through in the
Okay.
chat.
Easy. So the word easy in there. We make AV easy.
Yeah, or make your event easy.
Okay.
Make your staged event easy.
Make your next event. Make your
next event easy.
Yeah. I kind of like that word next event because
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, because it's saying, look, you're planning, it's specific. It's not, yeah.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gregory.
Okay, I got 45 years in the biz, small shows to big shows. And I don't know what Chris's background is, but something on the card has to say a number of years in the biz or insured, because Hollywood's a tough nut to crack in supplying services of this nature. It's a lot of people out there already doing it, and a lot of I don't know how long you've been in this, Chris, but just give me.
I don't think he's doing it for Hollywood stuff. He's doing it for businesses, like putting on.
No, I understand. But I'm talking in general. I'm talking about the whole entertainment business, about hotel events and stuff like that. That's because you also got to deal with, if you do a venue. If the venue has hotel, it's a hotel venue, then you're gonna have to deal with the hotel staff and all that. So but the point I'm coming to get event coordinators' attention is, from my point of view, is I see guaranteed, I see successful events, but I don't see how many years you've been, or maybe what other events you have done, because they're gonna do a Google search on you.
Yep.
And Google search comes up that you're new. I mean, go for it. Definitely, absolutely, go for it. But
That's a great point, though, that Gregory just brought up, is the proof. You know, it's like when you're doing benefits or when you're overcoming an objection, if you find the objection is, well, you know, like he asked, you know, what's your background? How experienced are you? You're going to have to overcome that objection.
Yep.
So
Well,
claim proof benefit.
Yep. Well, again, this is going to go to, here's the thing. This is, I hear what you're saying, but this is just a business card. The website is where I'll have the reel of work I've done, and I can point out that I'm fully insured. You know, that's the other thing, is that I got insurance coming out my ears, including workers' comp. So I'm like, you know, these are fine points that that, like, when I go into talks with the hotel to come in there, they're going to want to find this out. But that's, again, there's only so much I can get on a business card. Right now, I'm just trying to, in the form of a business card, talk about benefits to get them to the website where I can expand upon my experience and expertise and et cetera on a website.
Okay. So with that in mind, let me give you a little feedback on your URL. You do not need www in front of it.
Okay.
So just the domain, and you might, if you're going to put something in front of it, put visit, which takes it from just a website to a call to action. You're telling them what to do.
Yep.
Much better.
Nice.
All right. See, there you got a call to action on your business card now.
Nice.
The other thing too, and it would work on this card, I don't know how it would work on the other card, is putting a picture of your face right above your name right here.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, like what Gwen was talking about, is the white cards get lost in the shuffle. And when they get home and they're thinking, well, who was this? And your face is there,
Yep.
now you got the connection.
Right. Well, keep in mind, we're just using this as a background right now.
Yeah.
That it will actually be, I should have been taking notes on the other one. It'll actually be the...
Well, the cool thing today, you have the recording, because I see it's actually going today. So.
Oh, nice.
So back and look.
I need to save this. Okay. Yeah. So having a face, I'm a big believer in that. Actually, can I ask one other question?
Sure.
Of you guys about that? We'll keep in mind that, like I say, I'll be going to this background. Do you still think it'd be a...
I don't think it would work the same. Putting your picture on there would not work.
Yeah, and this is the background. There's a lot going on there already, so I think putting a picture there is not good. But the question I wanted to ask you guys is just get your initial feedback on the website. If I look up staging companies in Los Angeles, I see a bunch of them, and it's always the same thing. It's just text, and it's like a slideshow, you know, which might be everything that people want to see of what someone's done. What I really want to do quickly is do a quick video just to say, hi, my name is Chris McLean, the owner of Trusted AV. If you're looking for your next event to be easy and stress-free, in other words, to put an actual video up of me talking about benefits, as opposed to just a slideshow. Because number one, I don't see that on any website.
Sliders,
and secondly, it puts
garbage.
And secondly, it puts a face. It puts a face and a direct, right up front benefit talk to the person, and taking ownership of, you know, our desire to make their next event great.
Yeah, you could also put a call to action on that video to make sure they watch it. Like, you know, watch this 2-minute video to make sure your next event goes smooth.
Yeah,
smooth.
Right.
And
okay. So does that sound like just in general, when you have a website, I mean, you know, for some businesses it works better than others, but does that initially, if you guys were going to a site and you saw example A was just really nice slideshows and pictures and information and a call to action, you know, call us for a quote, versus someone that's actually on the screen saying, hi, you're in the right place because we make your life easy and we take the stress out of it. And does that sound initially like a better way to reach people?
Well, I think you need a combination of both.
Okay.
Don't plan on them actually watching the video unless you've grabbed their attention and there's a reason for them to watch the video.
Okay.
So you can't put videos that just auto play on your website anymore because a lot of the browsers block them.
Oh.
So you've got to actually have a call to action to get them to play the video.
Oh.
The website at a glance should tell them what you do and why it's important to them.
Okay.
And then that call to action should be watch this video to find out more.
Ah, okay, I see.
So that, but yeah, you don't want to rely on the video because count on a lot of people not watching it. And if you don't have the message there, unless they watch the video, you're kind of saying they're not important. They're not important enough to get them, hooked in to watch the video, which will really help them.
Okay. Hey, one technical point on that. You say it blocks autoplay, but it would still show the video in ready to play for that they would have to
or
click.
Or what they'll do, they'll let the video auto play, but they'll mute the sound.
I see.
They'll block the sound so you don't get the same experience. And then you got people trying to figure out, well, how do I rewind it so I could, it's a mess.
Got it. That's a good technical catch. Thank you, John.
Yeah, that's been recent. That was a thing just recently. I don't know exactly when, but within the last 6 months or so.
Okay, so I'll need just some kind of line when it goes to the website, some kind of line that call to action to watch this video to see how we can make your next event easy or make your life easier.
Yeah. So when I make my videos now, I make sure that I use a thumbnail image that actually has a really compelling call to action with the big play button right in the middle of it.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Don't just put it up and let it, choose a frame for your thumbnail.
Right.
Actually go into Photoshop and create a thumbnail that has the call to action.
Okay. Got it. And that's part of the video. Okay.
Yeah, like if you look at mine on the Internet Dominators site, I've got that burning car at the side of the road, and it says something like, watch this so you don't crash and burn your business or something like that.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the share then. Thank you everyone for your feedback.
Sure. We're happy to help. That's what it's all about. All right. Anybody else? Anything else? I got a few things here to cover real quick. If not, all right. I just wanted to share some stuff. I've spent most of yesterday inside Kartra playing around, getting to know some of the systems a little better. They have a new calendar system, which is really cool. So any of you that are paying for calendar service like myself, like I pay time trade. Here's another benefit to Kartra. Now I can cancel my time trade membership, not have that expense. And Kartra's got the calendars built right into the system. So if you're doing any kind of scheduling, it's built right in now. So it's really, really a cool deal. It's a little tricky to understand, but I'll probably do a video on it because I set mine up, and we're going to be using it for our apprentices to set apprentice appointments. So that's my first use for it. They've also created a billing portal where if you've got customers, you can give them a billing portal URL. They can log into their account, they can update their credit card numbers, they can, adjust their memberships, whatever they want to do, they can do it right through there, which is kind of cool. And then they added a new thing called campaigns. And what a campaign is, it's kind of like what ClickFunnels offered for being able to share funnels. So a campaign really is just a funnel. So they've allowed you to create campaigns in there, and then you can share them. They've also put a marketplace up where people that have the campaigns built already, they can sell them in there or give them away for free. So it's kind of a cool deal. But in the campaigns, you've got a couple of things, and I know they changed this because you used to be able to add your sequences right inside the product when you created it, but now you can't. You actually have to create a sequence. And the difference between sequences and automations is this. The sequence is a series of emails that's going to go out. And inside that sequence, you can create parameters like if this, then that. But an automation, it's important you get the thing about automation, because like if somebody cancels, you want to have an automation that says if they cancel, you want to revoke their membership. You want to take them off this list and maybe add a new tag to them. So when you're communicating out with your list, you're not communicating out with the list as though they're an active member when they're not. So that's something that's important. And you can do all kinds of variations in there in the automations. And again, it's like if this, then that type stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was the Beaver Builder, which is a plugin in WordPress that allows you to create the site visually. It's really, really a neat tool. For any of you that have worked in WordPress before, you know how cumbersome it is. It's like really kind of got you locked in a box design wise. And Beaver Builder opens the box up design wise and lets you really design, look and feel graphically, visually by a drag and drop, point and click. So that was one of the reasons I was, against WordPress for a very long time and wouldn't use it myself because of that. Because I like to be able to get in and tinker with stuff. And this is the perfect solution. So if you've got a website, you want to probably look into using Beaver Builder. It's again, it's just an awesome product. And another thing, this is something that came up with with several different apprentices this week that are actually running ads. Several of you guys are up to the point now where you're in the traffic mode, which is awesome. We're making money now. But one of the things, the difference between running an ad and personally connecting is a very large gap. Like if let's say you're doing personal connections inside of LinkedIn, your engagement is going to be very high compared to if you run ads. Like you might run an ad out and think, hey, this isn't the right ad because it's not getting engagement. Well, it's very different than if you're connecting with a person and you're sending them a private message. You're going to get a lot more engagement that way. So don't gauge the fact that your ad's not getting the same results as personal engagement, because they're not going to. They never will go that way. If you're looking for really high engagement, the best traffic on the planet for engagement is going to be organic traffic, whether it be organic search or pay-per-click. I consider those both kind of organic traffic, because even though one is paid and one is not, they both are paid, really. I mean, you're paying for SEO one way or another, whether it's your time or whatever to do it. But when somebody is doing, well, let me just describe the difference between search traffic and ad traffic. The ad traffic is disruptive. No one is looking for your ad. They don't go on Facebook saying, wow, I wish this ad, let me hunt for this ad. They're not looking for it. They're doing something else, and your ad comes up in front of them and disrupts them. So depending on how focused they are on the job at hand, whether they're going to be disrupted or not is up to how good the ad is, how good the hook is. And even the best hook in the world is still not going to grab everybody because they're not looking for it. They're not in that mode. But when they go to search, this is the big difference with engagement. When somebody goes to search, their intent is to find something. So if you're what they're looking for and they go and they search and they find you, their chance of engaging with you is going to be through the roof. So that whole engagement thing, keep that in mind when you're gauging the your ads. When you're gauging the success of your ads, you've got to keep that in mind. You're not going to get the same engagement rate as if they're coming your direction or if you're communicating one-on-one with them. So anyway, that was what I wanted to cover. You know, the difference between that inflow and disruptive advertising. That's like the difference between search traffic and banner traffic, for lack of a better word, but any other ad that you're bringing in front of people when they're not in the mood. So, all right, guys, that is it. We'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, we got a good, solid recording today, so we'll get that up in the archive for you guys to check out if you want to go back and if you missed any of it. So have a great week, and we will talk to you guys next week.